There's one last way to check conditions inside Swift. It's called the Ternary Conditional Operator. And when you see it, you'll probably think, why on earth would I ever want to have that in my code? To be fair, I used it very rarely previously as well. However, it has become very important inside Swift UI, so it's important you do learn it. This is called the Ternary Conditional Operator, and to understand where the name comes from, I want to show you a very, very small slice of code. Basic mathematics. 2 plus 5. Now, that plus sign is an operator. It works on pieces of data given to it. And this one in particular is called a binary operator, as is star, minus, equals, and more. And they have that name because they all operate on 2 pieces of data. That's all the binary means here. It has 2 pieces of input coming in, and it acts on that to get its result. The ternary operator gets its name because it acts on 3 pieces of data at a time. In fact, there's only one ternary operator in Swift, the ternary conditional operator, so often here it's just called the ternary operator. It's the only one we have. Anyway, enough about names. What does it actually do? Well, this thing let us check a condition and then send back either one value or another value depending on the result of that condition. For example, we could make a constant called age, set to 18 here. And I want to make another constant called canVote, set to either yes or no, depending on the value of age. And that can be used for with the ternary operator by saying, let canVote equals age is greater than or equal to 18, question mark yes, colon no. And when this code runs, canVote will be set to yes, because age is greater than or equal to 18. It's exactly 18. So as you might be able to see in the syntax jumble in front of you, the ternary operator has 3 parts. First up, the condition to check. In our case, we're saying, is age greater than or equal to 18? Then we have something to send back when that condition is true. In our case, we want to send back yes. They are greater than or equal to 18. And finally, something to send back if the condition is false. And this makes it identical to an if-else statement. Condition first, if age greater than or equal to 18, then if that's true, yes, else, no. Very, very similar. There's a condensed form of that. If it helps to remember the order, Scott Michaud has a brilliant mnemonic here, and you can find him on Twitter at Scott Michaud. His mnemonic is WTF, which stands for what are we checking, what to do if it's true, and what to do if it's false. In this case, our condition, the what are we checking, is age greater than or equal to 18? The T, the true, what to send back if our condition is true, make canVote yes. And the F, what to do if age is not greater than 18, send back no, the false statement here. Let's look at some other examples live in Xcode. Starting with a nice easy one, we're going to read an hour in 24-hour format and then print one of 2 messages. So I'll say let hour equals 23 and then print our condition hour is less than 12. If that's true, we'll say it's before noon. If that's false, we'll print it's afternoon. Now in this case, hour is greater than 12. So we can print it back and it'll say it's afternoon, which makes sense. Or we could do another one that reads what's in an array. Is an array empty or not? And prints a message if it is empty, otherwise the count of the array. So we could say let names equals array of Jane and Kaylee and Mal, and let crew count equals if names is empty, that's our condition, then send back no one. Otherwise, if names is not empty, send back names.count people. And finally, print crew count. Let's run that back. Boom, 3 people. Now this gets a little bit harder to read when your condition involves equals equals. You're checking for equality. Because you have equals and equals equals at the same time, it's a bit hard to read at first. Let's see it here. Let's say there's an enum called theme with case light and dark as our two possible options. I'll say we have a constant called theme equal to theme.dark by default. And now for our ternary. Let background equals our condition. Theme is equal to dark, .dark, sorry. If that's true, send back black. If that's false, send back white. And then print background. And that code's valid. It'll print out black, sorry. Boom, there we go. And the equals and equals equals, it's a bit hard to read at first, but break it down. This is our condition, the what to check, W. This is our T, what to send back if it's true. And this is our F, what to send back if the condition's false. If it helps, you can put the condition in parentheses like this. Just make it clear that's the condition. It's down to you. Now, at this point, you might be wondering, what's the point? How is this possibly useful? We already have if and else available to us. Why do we need to have this ternary conditional operator? And I know it's not a great answer, but you're going to have to trust me on this. There are times, particularly with SwiftUI, when we have no choice. We must use a ternary. And you can sort of see what the problem is if we look at our print line up here to print is before noon or afternoon. If you wanted to write that out as an if, you might have said something like this. If hour is less than 12, like this, then it's afternoon. Else, like this, sorry, but before noon, otherwise it's afternoon. You might try and write that. That's kind of what we mean here. But you can see Swift isn't happy. Swift does not allow us to have this kind of code inside a call to print. And there's a subtle distinction here between what we call expressions and statements. But the simple fact is we can't have logic like if or switch or similar inside this print. It's just not allowed. You can't do it that way. You might try something else, which is valid, but I wouldn't recommend it, which is to move the print inside the condition. So you'd say something like, if hour is less than 12, print it's before noon, else print it's afternoon, and then remove the inner brace. And that second one works fine here. You can do that. That's allowed. I made a typo. Is it complaining at me? No, it's fine. That's allowed. Just take a bit of time to catch up there a little bit. But it becomes almost impossible in SwiftUI, where you've got to have condition, 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 condition. A lot of these things stacked up sometimes, and having lots and lots of ifs makes an absolute mess of your code. So even though you might look at ternaries and say, well, why would I ever use that? Please trust me, it does matter.